Stop trying to flip the switch. What if instead of looking at your life through the lens of the core four of body, being, balance, and business, what if instead of trying to flip the switch, instead you made the decision to slowly increase the damper? So many people believe that change that happens in life is going to come away in some dramatic format. They're going to have that moment where they're all of a sudden, as people love to say, flip the switch, and now they're locked in. But if we look across society, we see that that doesn't really happen. Almost never. Sure, there are the inspirational stories of the person that had a near-death experience, lost a loved one, hit rock bottom when they were fired, and then all of a sudden, that was the event that made them decide that they were done with their bullshit and they're going to lock in. But if we look at this, especially this time of year, it's very indicative that what I'm about to say is true. 90-some% of people that set a New Year's resolution fail to complete that resolution. Many of them are done before the month even ends. And of the few that are remaining, most of those people are out by the end of the quarter. Why is that happening? It's because when we look at this, you are already unhappy with certain aspects of your life. Many of you are unhappy with how you look and feel. Many of you are upset because you don't have a connection with God. Many of you feel like you're failing in your relationships as a spouse or a parent. Some of you feel like you're stuck in a dead-end job, or you have no savings, or are living paycheck to paycheck. And so your belief, because this is what Disney told you, is that all of a sudden you're going to get to this point in time where you're going to be at a precipice, where something is going to happen, and that something is going to be the final motivation that you need to turn your life around. And you believe that it's quite that easy, just a simple flip of the switch. I never worked out, I never ate clean. All of a sudden, I'm going to get a scare from my cardiologist, and now I'm going to be getting my walks in every day. I'm going to be eating perfect. I'm going to lift. I'm going to make time to go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. Maybe you think that you're going to go to church, and maybe there's going to be this one sermon that the preacher is going to sell to you, and you're going to feel convicted, and you're going to feel like they're talking to you. And then, boom, you're going to find your faith. You're going to find your connection with God. Many of you think that once you get that promotion, you're going to have more time off work to spend with your kids. You think maybe when your kids get a little bit older and they don't require a babysitter, or maybe you and the missus can sneak away for a little bit. You can have a date night. A lot of you think that if I just work a little harder, the business will take off. Put a little more effort in. I'm going to hit my numbers, my quota. Once I am able to make whatever number is in your head, then I can afford to start saving. And across all of those things, the reality is really straightforward. Monday never comes for you to go to the gym. You bounce from church to church, waiting to find a pastor that speaks to you. But no one seems to say the right thing. You don't ever get a date night. Your wife leaves you. You grow up disconnected from your kids. They don't come home after they leave. Your business stays stagnant. Your savings never increases. Why? Because you were relying on someday. And someday, my friends, is not a day of the week. It's not a day of the month. It's not a day of the year. Someday never comes. Because we believe that we have, even though we know we don't, we believe we have an infinite amount of some days. I'm going to have time just down the road. Now, here's where time becomes your friend. Time becomes your friend when you make small incremental changes. Small incremental changes sustained over time will always pay large dividends. But no change, enacted never, doesn't accomplish anything. If you continue to say, someday I will make this change, I will take this action, I will do this thing, you don't ever get there. General Patton once said that a good plan violently executed today is better than the perfect plan tried tomorrow. So many people want the outcome, but they don't want the awkward that comes with it. In everything that I do in life, I must go through an awkward phase. I've got to go to the gym and be weak. I've got to go to the gym and be sucking wind. There's no way around it. I have to do that if I want to become elite. I have to go through a confusion time as I sit here and I read the Bible. I got to be confused. What does it mean? I got to put the time to do the research, to ask questions, to look things up, to find the answers for myself. I can't get upset because when I pick this up, I don't understand it. Why is that not the expectation? Instead of saying it's too hard to read, I can't understand it, why don't you read it again? Ask yourself. Ask for guidance up above. We look at our relationships and we believe, we swear to God, we need this trip to Hawaii. When the truth is, you just need a quiet night on the couch. We talk about we want our kids to feel like we provide for them. But when do we listen to them? When do we take time to ask how their day was? When do we ask what their goals are, their dreams? We say we want to be able to have additional money in the bank, but we don't save when we're poor. We believe that at some point when we get enough money, well, then it'll be easy to save. But I promise you, I've worked with thousands of people, and that's just not the reality. If you don't learn to save with a little, you will not save with a lot. I see people that go into business and they go, I'm going to crush this. But why do you think you're going to crush this? Because I'm not going to accept no, and no one's going to work harder than me. We look at businesses in America. 50% of out of business within year 5. The stats are somewhere between 60 to 90% are out of business by year 10. The median income of a business, the truth is, 51% of the small businesses in America don't even turn a profit. And of those that are left, the median income is profit is $48,000, less than minimum wage in California. But yet, people believe that all of a sudden they're going to flip some switch. Why would you not flip the switch when you started the business if that's what it was going to take? You're never going to be more motivated than the very beginning. That's when motivation is the highest. Of course, fear is the highest as well, but you will never be more motivated than day one. So when we sit down here and we look at it, we want to be able to build on it. And to be able to build on it, it means that we make small incremental changes. When you want to get in shape, rather than going, I'm going to start working out 2 times a day, 7 days a week, I'm only going to eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, that's it. Why not start with, I'm going to go for a walk every day? Why not start with, I'm going to track my calories and I'm going to eat clean 80% of the time? We look at wanting to grow in our faith. Why not start with, I'm going to read a chapter or 2 or 3 chapters out of the Bible every morning and journal my thoughts. What do I think about if it's getting better with the relationship? What would happen if I'm just going to leave a note for my kids every morning in their lunchbox? Or I'm going to text the wife throughout the day, check in on her, see how she's doing. If it was with the business, what if you said, you know what? I'm going to start putting away 10% of my money every month into savings. What would happen if you made these small changes? Well, let me tell you, because what I've seen time and time again is that the people who make these small changes, they start to get momentum. They start to realize that what they want to do is actually doable. Because if I give myself enough time, compounding interest always works. If I say to myself, I'm going to walk every day, for example, and I start doing that, I promise you somewhere along the way, you can go, I bet I could jog for 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes becomes 10. 10 becomes 15. And before you know it, instead of just walking for 30 minutes every morning, you're jogging for 30 minutes a few times a week. Then it becomes every day. All of a sudden, you're sitting here counting your calories. It's keeping you aware and cognizant of what it is that you're actually eating. And you start making better decisions and skipping the candy or not having the dessert every time. We sit down here, we start reading the Bible every day. All of a sudden, we start finding conviction. We start finding wisdom and truth. We start applying that to our life because it's another touch point. We sit down there and decide that we're going to check in with our spouse. Before you know it, she starts feeling appreciated. She starts reciprocating. Fights begin to stop. Intimacy begins to come back. And then, instead of dreading coming home, you're excited to come home. You're not sitting in the car for 10 minutes waiting to collect the collect yourself before you go in. You're excited about the idea of going on a date. You're excited about the idea of getting away on a vacation. Because you didn't wait for Jamaica to be romantic, you were romantic today. When you start talking to your children and expressing interest, and they start to feel there's a safe harbor, a place where they can have conversation with you, before you know it, they're going to start bringing their problems to you. They're going to give you the opportunity to become the shepherd, which is what a parent is. At the end of the day, you truthfully do not have control over your kids. Sure, you can force them into cleaning their room, but you can't make them want to. And at some point in time, they move out, they move on, they become adults. Are you going to have kids that when they move out, you lose complete influence? Or because you cared about checking in when they were younger, they bring their problems to you and ask for your counsel when they're older. If we look at business and you started saving, no matter what age you were at, and you continue to save, there will come a time when you'll need to make a withdrawal and you'll be grateful that you did. All of these things will improve with minor adjustments because minor adjustments will sustain and minor adjustments over time will multiply. So my question for you, friends, is this. Where in your life across the core four of body, being, balance, and business can you stop trying to flip the switch and instead just raise the damper? I hope you took this message to heart. If you got something out of this, please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, keep living your life. Head down, horns up. Salute.